They should go to work. Should they not? I mean, they got elected to represent people in Texas, not
so
people in
Congress.
Illinois.
Why did they abandon the House to not vote on these Epstein files?
It's the August recess. And if you're comparing these two,
once
again, you're showing just how dishonest you're willing to be. The
The
reality
it was
is
not
they
the
got
August
elected.
recess.
They got
left
elected.
early.
They got elected to go to work in the Texas state capitol. They've left the state. They're abandoning their constituents. And if they want to go vote against the map, that's fine. But running off to Illinois, the most gerrymandered state in the country, I mean, I understand no one in the PR department at the Texas House Democratic Conference must have been at work that day, but it looks horrific for them to run off.
That's Scott Jennings slamming the Texas Democrats for fleeing the state like cowards instead of doing their jobs. And with Abby Phillip out of the moderator chair, the liberal lunatics on the CNN panel had nowhere to hide. Welcome to Nerk News. I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Democrats have pulled another disappearing act. This time to stop a vote in Texas they knew they'd lose, because when the map doesn't work for them, they just run and scream democracy. You know, it's amazing how the same people who call Republicans authoritarians are now literally cheering on lawmakers who skip town to block votes. I mean, if redistricting is tyranny, Illinois must be a gulag. Here's Scott Jennings dismantling the weak defenses for this flea-bagging stunt.
Scott, and I want to speak to this because, in full disclosure, my sister was one of the people who fled to Illinois, who's a state representative in Austin. And what I will say about that is that they had to flee. They don't have control.
Had to flee?
Let me tell you, they don't have control of the House or the Senate or the governor's mansion or anything in Texas. But what I will say is that Republicans are trying to take away districts and on the backs of Latino and African American voters in the state. And there are several districts in South Texas where I was born and raised on the border, Houston, Austin, where they are trying to dilute the Latino vote and trying to kick out people like Greg Casar and the representative Sylvia Garcia from Houston. And these are elected leaders that were picked by Latino voters. And so, yes, I think it is right for the Texas legislators to get up and go. This is not the only reason they're doing this is for political purposes. And Trump has said himself over and over and over that he is only doing this because he wants to pick up seats for the midterm elections. He's not doing this
so you get elected to represent people in Texas, and your reaction to that is to go to Illinois and hide behind J.B. Pritzker?
They're breaking quorum. That's what they're doing. They're breaking quorum because it is not right.
At a minimum, it's childish, and it might be criminal.
Well, you know what's childish and criminal? It is Abbott, who is going against the will of the voters by redistricting, not based on census data, but based on Donald Trump's will, in order to gain more seats because Donald Trump is scared about losing the House of Representatives because of higher.
Let's take You know, the Democrats didn't flee because they feared for their safety. They fled because they didn't want to lose a vote. That's not resistance. That's dereliction. And the kicker, they fled to Illinois, one of the most gerrymandered Democrat strongholds in the country. It's like protesting crime by moving into a cartel compound. And Hinojosa trying to pass off this tantrum as noble because her sister is one of the ones hiding as classic establishment media. Jennings is right. This wasn't strategic. It was embarrassing. But that didn't stop these progressive pod people from throwing whatever they could at the wall to paint the cowards on their side as heroes.
Scott just mentioned the August recess. Republicans left not in August, they left in July. They left several weeks early. You could laugh and smirk. Yes, they did, Scott.
Several weeks? It's a lie.
It's not, Scott, it's not a lie, actually. You said August recess, they left in July. And they left in July, and they said they left in July because they didn't want to vote on the Epstein matter. They didn't want to vote to release the Epstein file. And so now you're saying the senators and the reps down in Texas have to do their job. Because what are they scared of? But what are you guys scared of in terms of staying in Washington? What's the difference?
Do you think, you're a Democrat,
in California, an independent commission. Democrats would prefer a fair process and an independent commission.
No, it is.
It's not in California. Republicans get about 40% of the vote, and they have 17% of the congressional seats. So not a great example. But number two, if it's rigging the election, that's your words, in Texas, is it going to be rigging the election when all these Democrats who say they're going to gerrymander in the other state, are you also going to argue that they're rigging the election or just in Texas?
Yes,
and have the elections been rigged in Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, New Mexico, Hawaii, Oregon, Washington, and Rhode Island? Have they been rigged there as well? Because there, the proportion of Republican vote comes nowhere near what they have in Congress.
They did a normal redistricting process. If states end up going, like if states end up going and calling special sessions and doing all of these things to try to gain seats, I agree. I don't agree with that. Do I think they need to do it? Absolutely.
You know, without Abby Phillip there to interrupt and spin for the Democrats, the whole illusion just crumbles. I mean, the House adjourning 9 days early for a standard recess isn't exactly the same as Texas Democrats fleeing the state to break quorum and block a vote they knew they'd lose. Democrats love screaming about rigged maps in red states while they're stacking the deck in blue ones like New York, California, and Maryland. Because it's not about fairness, it's about control. And when they lose control, they bail. But let me know what you think. Do you think these Texas Democrats should be forced to return and face the vote? Or are they just embarrassing themselves by hiding out in Illinois? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.